wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic podcast, where we discuss the ancient philosophy of Stoicism and how it applies to modern life. Today will be a solo episode with me, Dan Monks of Queens, New York City. The only constant in the universe is change. That aphorism is familiar to most people, and it is an important concept that is a fundamental underpinning of Stoicism. Much of Stoic physics was inherited from a pre-Socratic philosopher named Heraclitus of Ephesus. You cannot step twice into the same river, for fresh waters are ever flowing in upon you. Heraclitus, Fragment 12. River tributaries are constantly changing, and the shape of the river changes with erosion. The water level, speed, and temperature changes depending on the season and the weather. The organisms present in the water, the silt and plant detritus, are constantly changing as well. The water itself is constantly changing, coming down in the form of rain and snow, entering streams which meet the rivers and flow to the sea or the Great Lakes only to evaporate and enter the cycle again. The changing river is a small illustration of cosmic flux, which is also constant. The universe is perpetually made new by the unfolding of events in the causal web. Some things are hastening to be, others to be no more, while of those that haste into being, some part is already extinct. Fluxes and changes perpetually renew the world, just as the unbroken march of time makes ever new the infinity of ages. In this river of change, which of the things which swirl past him, whereon no firm foothold is possible, should a man prize so highly? We may as well fall in love with a sparrow that flits past and in a moment is gone from our eyes. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, Book 6.15. We humans frequently find change stressful. We would prefer many things remain just as they are, and when they inevitably change, we can find it distressing. It could be feeling the years pass rapidly by, watching children grow and become increasingly independent. It could be witnessing the increasing frailty in elderly folks that we care about. It could be noticing that our own bodies are not as robust as they once were. We would prefer that our homeland enjoy perpetual flourishing and prosperity, but we know from examining history that immortality is not the fate of human social structures. The past is fixed and unchangeable. The future is unknowable. The only moment we have access to is the present moment. It is easy to get stuck ruminating on the past, wishing that things were like they were when we were younger, or being anxious about possible futures, the inevitability of future adversities like illness and death. Think often on the swiftness with which the things that exist and that are coming into existence are swept past us and carried out of sight. For all substance is as a river in ceaseless flow, its activities ever-changing, and its causes subject to countless variations, and scarcely anything stable. And ever beside us is this infinity of the past, and yawning abyss of the future, wherein all things are disappearing. Is he not senseless who in such an environment puffs himself up, or is distracted, or frets as if his trouble is lasting and far-reaching? Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, Book 5.23. If we get stuck ruminating on the past or being anxious of the future, we are losing the opportunity to fulfill our purpose in life. As Stoic practitioners, we are called upon to fulfill our social roles through appropriate action. And getting wrapped around the axle thinking about something other than the present moment is wasteful and detrimental. So, when we find ourselves not paying attention to the here and now, hic et nunc, what do we do about it? One effective technique is to contemplate cosmic flux, which over time helps us to accept the ephemeral and ever-changing nature of life. Regarding attentively every existing thing, reflect that it is already disintegrating and changing, and as it were in a state of decomposition and dispersion, or that everything is by nature made but to die. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations 10.18. Many Stoic spiritual exercises are about perspective shifting. When we notice that we are losing the present moment to ruminations of the past or anxiety about the future, one effective way to shake ourselves loose so we can bring our focus back to the present is to first zoom our perspective outward, way outward. The view from above is a way of zooming our perspective out spatially, to look down on earthly events from above, even from a cosmic perspective. But I view the contemplation of cosmic flux slightly differently. It can incorporate zooming out spatially, but more important is to contemplate the sweep of cosmic events through time. Like the view from above, viewing the span of cosmic time puts the importance of events in our lives into perspective. It is in thy power to rid thyself of many unnecessary troubles, for they exist wholly in thy imagination. Thou wilt at once set thy feet in a large room by embracing the whole universe in thy mind and including in thy purview time everlasting, and by observing the rapid change in every part of everything, and the shortness of the span between birth and dissolution, and that the yawning immensity before birth is only matched by the infinity after our dissolution. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations, Book 9.32. If you were to encounter a mysterious stone wall in a wood in New England, chances are it once marked the boundaries of a farmer's cultivated field. It can be instructive to envision the 18th or 19th century farmer clearing the ancient existing forest and using the stones from the field to build the enclosing wall, undoubtedly intending to pass the farm down to their great-great-grandchildren. Then envision the sweep of unfolding events that have resulted in that field returning to forest, the farm long forgotten. In the fullness of time, even the stone border wall will deteriorate and be buried. A couple times a year, I go to the Adirondack Mountains to take a break from New York City. It is therapeutic to spend a little time in the clean air, surrounded by trees, and away from the roiling mass of humanity that is the concrete jungle of New York. While in the Adirondacks, it is easy to contemplate cosmic flux. Some might wonder how being in a quiet and sedate location could make it easier to contemplate the ever-changing universe. To illustrate, my most common Adirondack walking route is a moderate trek to a beaver pond. The episode image will be a picture I took there recently. In the foreground, you will be able to see a mound of sticks. That is a beaver lodge. At the beaver pond, you can observe a variety of things that evidence change over time. In the background of the pond are some of the smaller peaks of the Adirondacks. The Adirondack Mountains are unusual in that they are both old and young. The bedrock that forms the mountains is ancient, in fact, more than 1 billion years old. But the original mountains were worn away through erosion and eventually flattened out, and were even covered by a shallow sea for a time. Then, about 180 million years ago, something called the dome uplift took place, which due to underground pressures of a geological hotspot and tectonic plates, those ancient and worn-away mountains rose again from the sea, and are still rising. Despite their ancient and worn appearance, the dome uplift is still happening, and the Adirondacks are currently growing centimeter by centimeter year after year. Also, if you know what to look for in exposed rocks, you can sometimes see evidence of the passage of glaciers, grinding and gouging scores into the rock. Evidence of more rapid changes can be seen in the pond itself. At some point in the not-too-distant past, beavers looking for a new home discovered this place and decided it would be suitable for their purposes and dammed up the stream. The resulting pond obscured what was originally uneven topography. Beavers are excellent dam builders, but they are not much for dredging, so the water that constantly flows into the pond carries in the silt from further upstream, and it settles at the bottom of the beaver pond. Over time, beaver ponds silt up and become more and more shallow, until it is no longer suitable as a beaver habitat. The beavers then move along to find a place to make a new beaver pond. Eventually, the first beaver pond will become full of silt, and the neglected dam will deteriorate, allowing the pond to drain completely, leaving behind a perfectly smooth meadow filled with nutrient-rich soil. What was once an uneven and rocky place worn by stream water will become a flattened meadow. Year after year walking to this beaver pond has allowed me to observe the gradual changes in the plants that grow in the water as the pond becomes increasingly shallow. And once you understand that even the most ancient of mountains is in constant evolution, you must accept that nothing is fixed in place, nothing is permanent. Not only are the mountains in motion, so is the Earth itself, rotating on its axis and orbiting a star, which itself is moving, being just one star in an arm of stars, and a rotating spiral galaxy, and the whole galaxy is moving through space. These kinds of thoughts can be unmooring when first contemplated, but repetition over time makes them more familiar, and can reduce the distress of events, even dispreferred events. You come to recognize that change occurs according to preceding causes. There is no injustice or irrationality in the course of events. Change is inevitable, and railing against the ordered unfolding of events according to preceding causes is irrational and counterproductive. What matters is making the best of the circumstances that present themselves in the moment. Are we conducting ourselves in a virtuous manner? Are we acting in a manner that is beneficial to our fellow humans and to ourselves? Marcus Aurelius made a particularly consistent study of cosmic flux, the universe, and our place in it. But he wasn't the only one who contemplated these things. I will close out with a thought from Seneca. Place before your mind's eye the vast spread of time's abyss, and consider the universe, and then contrast our so-called human life with infinity. You will then see how scant is that for which we pray, and the life which we seek to lengthen. How much of this time is taken up with weeping, how much with worry. Seneca, Letter 99. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please send us an email at sundaystoic@gmail.com. If you enjoy our podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review on whatever platform you use to listen to us. Your feedback helps us to reach new audience members and to build the podcast. We look forward to releasing a new episode next week, fate permitting. And as Steve always says, Carpe Diem!